Here's video number 2 on this pond. This is the machine I'm using, Kubota KX040-4. It's got the blade, does both angles, up, down, left, right. The bucket doesn't tilt, but other than that, works pretty good. Here's where I'm at now. Just about done. I'm gonna go run for fuel, and then once I make that fuel run, I don't know, 8 hours left maybe. Probably about 8 by the time I'm done grading all the sides. I'll bring the tractor down here with the back blade for that. So I track packed, back bladed, and hammered this with the bucket. This back wall, since this was the major wall, I put a few layers of clay, then topsoil, then clay, then topsoil, then just clay, something like that. And I back bladed like right up to about here, and then the rest is just bucket packed because it's too steep and too mucky right now. It's not dry. So that's another thing when I'm working on this. I'll work over here and pull the wet out, and then I'll go to the other side and do something different. You really got to let that muck dry out so you can move it around and use it. I'm making my way around. I'm about 3/4 done, I'd say, on the packing and the tamping down. Pretty big hole right now. You can almost see that it's got a nice layer of clay. It's not brown anywhere. It's just like a light tan. But looking pretty good so far. I do believe it's going to hold. And looking at this pond over here, I almost feel like it was leaking on the back wall because this pond's dropping pretty quick. So I think the water was going into this pond from the big pond. But I'm hoping I sealed that up this time with all this new clay, or old clay in there, and new clay from the bottom. So hopefully it won't leak anywhere here until I put my pipe in. Then I'll just have the overflow going in there, which will fill that other pond too. Oh, that's the hope anyway. Funny, the painted turtles, as soon as the water level started dropping, they went into the other pond. The snapping turtles buried themselves in the mud. So if you don't get that mud out, you'll still have the snapping turtles in there if you do have problems with them. See a ton of rocks that I pulled up. As I said in the last video, I just leave them in there. I didn't want them to be packed into the walls. Figured that's a place it can leak is around the rock. Tightening up pretty good, especially this wall. This one I already did with the tractor before I did it with the excavator, so it's like double packed. And I'm probably going to get the 4-wheeler out and just ride around this thing like a bull and pack it down even further. Plus it'll be kind of fun ripping second gear around some of these banks. Big old berm, pond berm. So that's the next plan after I get it all packed in with the excavator. I'm going to go around with the 4-wheeler and pack it in even more. I did in this back corner a little bit. I started riding around the loop, the bowl, berm, whatever you want to call it. And over there I've been track packing and pushing it in. I'd say I'm about 3/4 done. And then I just got to grade and get the topsoil back up here. Seed, grass, hay, whatever you want to call it. Still a lot to do, but rounding the corner to something finished, which I like. It's been so long. Ready to see this thing filled up, swim in it. But there it is. Big pond. Super clean out. Pretty much tore this thing apart and rebuilt a new one. I wouldn't even call it a clean out. That's what I'd say I did. Relined the walls. Dug out all the muck. It's a solid clay bottom now, other than this back corner and that water. There's probably, I don't know, like 8 inches of muck, but I can stive drive in there without getting stuck. That's what I was looking for. Before, it was like quicksand. You couldn't go in there. You would get your machine stuck, sunk out of sight. But tightening up pretty good, looking good.